to be asked to close this very eventful conference, the Ghana International Petroleum Conference 2018. Over the last 3 days, the conference brought together policymakers, regulators, and captains of industry to discuss strategies for developing and growing the downstream petroleum industry. The focus of the conference on the government vision of developing a petroleum hub for petroleum products is particularly commendable given the urgent desire of our government to leverage our resources, our infrastructure, and of course, the enabling environment we have in Ghana to expand downstream operations through investment in refineries, storage, transportation, and distribution facilities for processing and trading in petroleum products. This development in Ghana could not have come at a better time, considering efforts by our neighbors such as Nigeria and La Côte d'Ivoire to expand similar infrastructure for the downstream markets. But Ghana is well positioned not only to become a hub in its own right, but also as the gateway as we try at the sub-regional level to integrate our markets, especially our downstream markets, between our coastal neighbors and our landlocked neighbors. Ladies and gentlemen, these efforts, when realized, will give true meaning to the ECOWAS integration agenda and the objectives of the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. We believe that the political and democratic stability of our country is an added menu to Ghana's eligibility to play this very important bridging role. Ladies and gentlemen, a petroleum hub in Ghana will no doubt create significant opportunity for our economy through value addition, jobs, and economic growth. It is therefore refreshing that the downstream industry has accepted the challenge demonstrated by the choice of the theme of this conference to understand and take advantage of the opportunity. I would like to reiterate the government's commitment to providing the environment that will facilitate the participation of local and foreign investors in this project. The conference, I must admit, has brought to the fore some of the factors that could derail our progress and adversely affect the realization of our vision of developing a petroleum hub in Ghana. These include high cost of STS at offshore Tema relative to Lomé, lack of crude oil storage for aggregating regional supplies, placing huge reliance on the vessel lineup, lack of competition in infrastructure deployment, particularly the CBMs, and the implications of this for higher pricing of assets in the industry. And of course, over-regulation of the market through more requirements for permits and licenses. Overall, ladies and gentlemen, these factors make the cost of doing business in the downstream market in our country higher, and therefore have the potential of reducing Ghana's competitiveness. I wish to assure you all that government has taken note of these concerns and will work with industry to formulate pragmatic measures towards addressing them. At this point, ladies and gentlemen, let me commend the organizing committee for a job well done. The conference attracted the right quality of audience, sustained the interest of participants in the discussions, and delivered relevant recommendations for the attention of our government and, of course, for all of us. This will not have been possible, and I believe you will agree with me, without our carefully selected experts who made presentations and participated in panel discussions. I want to salute all of you for this great achievement. Going forward, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we can do better at the next edition of the conference. And I'd like to propose, for instance, that the organization of the next conference should reflect the urgent need to integrate discussions between the three segments of the petroleum sector: upstream, midstream, and downstream. And I believe the presence of ExxonMobil here amply supports this position. This will make the conference a truly petroleum conference. I further propose the expansion of participation to include delegates from our neighboring Francophone countries, given that our economies and our people are so connected, and yet our problems and challenges are so common. This may require the provision of translation services in future, and I have no doubt that we can live up to this expectation, because I believe this is what will make the conference a truly international conference. Ladies and gentlemen, let me conclude by assuring you again of government's willingness to continue supporting this conference and other similar efforts aimed at generating ideas and enhancing policy consensus amongst us. It is my hope that the recommendations from this conference will be presented quickly to government for our consideration. And I believe, ladies and gentlemen, with this spirit of partnership, we'll all become winners. May the Almighty God bless our homeland Ghana and bless all of us, and I thank you so much.